Hello, my name is Carlos, and along my partner Elvira, we will be telling you about the extraordinary case of Alex Lewis, a British man who caught a cold that led to a life-threatening illness, multiple amputations, and a face unrecognizable from surgery. We have chosen this topic for several reasons, but the most important ones were the following: the rarity of the infection, Alex's attitude and positivity shown during and after rehabilitation, and finally, how inspirational his story was. I will be in charge of the first part of this presentation, and my partner Elvira will deal with the second. On this first part, I will be telling you about Alex's life before the infection, about the day he was admitted to hospital, about the infection that caused all this mess, and finally, briefly, I will tell you about his first night at the hospital. On the second part, Elvira will tell you about Alex's life during and after rehab. So let's start from the beginning. Alex's life before the infection. He lived in Stockbridge, Hampshire, in the south of England. He was a self-confessed, easygoing, laid-back, feckless young man in his mid-thirties who never got stressed. He loved fashion, playing golf, drawing, cooking, hanging, and especially drinking. He used to drink several pints of beer every day. He admitted to be an alcoholic before falling ill. He and his partner Lucy had two pubs. He was in charge of one and she was in charge of the other. He was also the stay-at-home dad for their little boy Sam. You can see a picture of the three of them here. All of that changed on the 17th of November of 2013. Before this fatal day, Alex had been suffering of what he thought it would be a cold or man flu for around 2 weeks. No big deal, he thought. After all, it was the season for colds and his little boy Sam was ill as well. For those who don't know, a man flu is an illness that causes the male of the species to be helpless and sicker than any other family member. In females, it's simply a cold. Lucy, his partner, also thought that Alex would recover soon, except he didn't. On Saturday morning he became feverish. He was shivering. His skin turned purple. He started to pass blood in his urine, and he was feeling like unconscious. This was no ordinary cold. Everything was happening right in front of Lucy, who called an ambulance right away. When the paramedics arrived, they put Alex on a seat and they tried to get some blood out of him, but they couldn't because his veins were shutting down. Later on in the ambulance, when they gave him penicillin, Lucy thought that everything was okay now, that he was in safe hands. This wasn't the case. Alex was rushed to hospital in Winchester, where doctors discovered that he had a bacterial infection attacking his organs. Alex had a strand A infection that led to toxic shock syndrome, septicemia, and necrotizing fasciitis. He was close to death. Everything was dying. His fingertips were dying, his toes were dying, his nose, his earlobes. All of these diseases are fatal on their own, but combined they gave Alex a slim chance of survival, only 3%. Now, some of you may wonder what all these infections do to our bodies. That is why, for the next minutes, I will let you know in great detail about all these names. So let's start with the root of the problem, the bacteria that cause all this. So it's known as Streptococcus pyogenes, and it is the predominant species of the genus Streptococcus. Many people carry this bacteria on their throat, rectum, skin without any incident, but sometimes it has the potential to cause both severe and mild diseases. Its name derives from Greek and it basically means chain of berries that produce pus. It is called like this because streptococcal cells tend to link in a chain of round cells as you can see here in the picture. And it is also named like this because most of the infections produced by this bacterium produce pus. Now, I have a question for everybody. How does this particular bacteria spread? Well, It spreads through the direct contact of the mucus from the nose or throat of people infected from it. Also, through contact with the infected wounds or sores on the skin. Just in case you get infected with it, let's hope you don't. You can treat yourself with antibiotics for 24 hours or more than that because it eliminates the ability of the bacteria to spread. Alex wasn't so fortunate though, because sometimes these GIS diseases can be severe when they enter the body to areas where these bacteria are not found. These areas are the lungs, the blood, and the muscles. Uh, these severe illnesses are known as invasive GAS diseases, and the two most severe and least common at the same time are known as necrotizing fasciitis and STSS, streptococcal toxic shock syndrome. Alex had got both of them on that tragic day. So let's start describing necrotizing fasciitis. It is a term that describes an infection that spreads very quickly and it results in the death of the body's soft tissues. It is located in the facial planes, which are bands of connective tissue that surrounds your muscles, nerves, and blood vessels. It enters the body through the break of the skin, usually through a cut or burn. It mostly occurs in the limbs and then the infection spreads towards your heart. Most cases are caused by the bacteria I've been telling you about, GAS, but most investigators now agree that this infection can be caused by other species of bacteria. It is known by the media as the flesh-eating bacteria, and you can see in the picture why. Some symptoms may include red and purple skin on the affected area, severe pain, fever, and vomiting. One of the results of necrotizing fasciitis is sepsis. Sepsis is an illness, a life-threatening illness, that is caused actually by your body's response to an infection. As you already know, your immune system protects you against diseases and infections, but it is possible for it to go overdrive in response to an infection. So sepsis develops when the chemicals the immune system releases into the bloodstream to fight an infection cause inflammation in the entire body instead. Some of the symptoms may include fever and severe pain, also low blood pressure. When the pressure drastically drops, it can cause your kidneys, lungs, and livers to fail. Finally, the last infection Alex fell victim to is known as STTS. It is caused by a bacterial infection by the toxins of the bacteria. Do you remember the bacteria that caused Alex's infection? Well, yes, you're right. It's known as Streptococcus pyogenes, and uh, some of the sorry, some of the symptoms may include skin peeling, as you can see on the left, and rash. So now that all of you know a little bit more about the infections that changed Alex's life, I would like to go back to our story and tell you a little bit more about the first night at the hospital. At the hospital, Alex was put right away into resuscitation, and Lucy, his partner, was told to say goodbye. Alex's kidneys were shutting down and he was going to be put on life support. Alex entered into a coma. So to finish, guys, after having outlined Alex's life before the infection and described the infections, my partner Elvira on the second part of this presentation will be telling you more about Alex's life during and after rehabilitation. So thank you for watching my presentation. If you have any questions, please comment below the video. I will happily answer your questions. Thank you. Bye.